Iqaluit is the capital of the Canadian territory of Nunavut, its largest community, and its only city. It was known as Frobisher Bay from 1942 to 1987, after the large bay on the coast of which the city is situated. In 1987, its traditional Inuktitut name was restored. In 1999, Iqaluit was designated the capital of Nunavut after the division of the Northwest Territories into two separate territories. Before this event, Iqaluit was a small city and not well known outside the Canadian Arctic or Canada. With population and economic growth highly limited, this is due to the city's isolation and heavy dependence on expensive imported supplies. As the city, like the rest of Nunavut, has no road or rail, and only has ship connections for part of the year to the rest of Canada. The city has a polar climate, influenced by the cold deep waters of the Labrador Current just off Baffin Island. This makes the city of Iqaluit cold, although it is well south of the Arctic Circle. As of the 2016 census, the population was 7,740, an increase of 15.5% from the 2011 census. Iqaluit has the lowest population of any capital city in Canada. Inhabitants of Iqaluit are called Iqaluit. Iqaluit has been a traditional fishing location used by Inuit for thousands of years. The name, Iqaluit, comes from Inuktitut Iqaluit, which means place of many fish. World War II resulted in an influx of non-Inuit to the area in 1942. When the United States built Frobisher Bay Air Base there, on a long-term lease from the Government of Canada, in order to provide a stopover and refueling site for the short-range aircraft being ferried to Europe to support the war effort. Iqalut's first permanent resident was Nakashuk, an Inuk guide who helped United States Army Air Forces planners to choose a site with a large flat area suitable for a landing strip. The wartime airstrip was known as Crystal II, was part of the Crimson Route and operates today as Iqaluit Airport. It had long been used as a campsite and fishing spot by the Inuit, who called it Iqaluit, place of many fish, in Inuktitut. The US and Canadian authorities named it Frobisher Bay, after the name of the body of water it borders. In 1949, after the war, the Hudson's Bay Company moved its South Baffin operations to the neighboring valley of Neakungat, officially called Apex, in order to use the airfield. In the mid-1950s, the population of Frobisher Bay increased rapidly during the construction of the distant early warning line, a system of defensive radar stations. See North American Aerospace Defense Command. Hundreds of mostly non-Inuit construction workers, military personnel, and administrative staff moved into the community, and several hundred Inuit followed, to take advantage of the access to jobs and medical care provided by the base operations. By 1957, 489 of the town's 1,200 residents were reported to be Inuit. After 1959, the Canadian government established permanent services at Frobisher Bay, including full-time doctors, a school, and social services. The Inuit population grew rapidly in response, as the government encouraged Inuit to settle permanently in communities supported by government services. Naval radio station Frobisher Bay, called sign CFI, was established in July 1954 as a result of the closure of NRS Quebec. Station CFI was part of the supplementary radio network. Because of its remoteness and size, it was very expensive to operate. Renamed CFS Frobisher Bay in 1966, advancing technology eventually forced the closure of CFI later that year. The American military left Iqaluit in 1963, as their development of the intercontinental ballistic missiles diminished the strategic value of the DU Line and Arctic airbases. Canada continued to operate an administrative and logistical center for much of the eastern Arctic. At Frobisher Bay, in 1964, the first local elections were held for a community council, and in 1979 for the first mayor. The founding of the Gordon Robertson Educational Center, now Inukshuk High School, in the early 1970s at Iqaluit confirmed the government's commitment to the community as an administrative center. At the time of its founding, this was the sole high school operating in what constituted more than 1/7 of Canadian territory. On the 1st of January 1987, the name of the municipality was changed from Frobisher Bay to Iqaluit, aligning official usage with the name that the Inuit population had always used. In December 1995, Iqaluit was selected by a territory-wide referendum to serve as Nunavut's future capital. It was chosen over Rankin Inlet. On the 19th of April 2001, it was designated a city. Canada designated Iqaluit as the host city for the 2010 meeting of the Group of 7 Finance Ministers, held on the 5th to the 6th of February. The requirements for the international meeting strained the northern communications technology infrastructure and required supplemental investment. Iqaluit is located in the Everett Mountains rising from Kudjasai.